Hey everybody, Steven here, and today I'm reviewing the ErgoChair 100 Mesh Office Chair from ProtoArc. This company has primarily made keyboards and mice in the past, but they are actually shifting over to making desks and chairs now, which is really exciting to see. And with this particular chair, it is extremely affordable. They do have other chairs in the works that are going to be on the higher end, but with this one, this is a solid price point. I'm excited to see that they can bring this in at this particular price point. But before I shift any further, let's go ahead and talk about the specs first, and then I will get into what I like and potentially don't like about this chair. And then if there are any gray area things, I will cover that last before wrapping the video up. So the first thing I want to start with is just the dimensions. I won't cover everything here. A couple things I want to point out. The total weight that this can handle is 280 pounds. For the seat cushion, it's kind of tapered. They're saying 19.7 for the total width. I measured this. It's actually a little bit wider at the peak towards the front. It's roughly 20 and a half inches in the front, and then it kind of tapers back towards about 19 and a half inches. So if you want to go back and pause that, look at the dimensions, make sure that it fits your needs, you can do that. I will be talking about the physical adjustments that this can make here in a second. Right now, this is just a time lapse of me building this. This is one of the quicker chairs I've made. It took about 13 minutes. On average, I usually do 20-25 minutes for a lot of chairs. This one much quicker. I do like how easy the wheels snap into the base. That was the easiest process for any chair I've ever made. So very much appreciate that, because a lot of times it is very hard, it is rough on your hands. Not the case here. And with this, you get the tool to build this, and you do get spare parts, so if anything happens, you can replace those parts, which is a nice touch. I always like when I see that. Sometimes that's not the case, so you're kind of out of luck if something does happen to break, or maybe, for instance, a screw doesn't fit properly, its threading isn't right. You're gonna have to figure something out. Shifting over now to the physical adjustments that this can make, we will start with the height adjustment. So total height adjustment here is roughly 3 inches, and then you can tilt this back. There's just this side lever that you can pull out that just unlocks this. This goes from 90 to 130 degrees. You can lock this at 90, 110, and then the 130 degrees. There's also a tension knob on the bottom that you can adjust if you want to make this just a little bit tighter when you go to lean back, so it doesn't feel quite like you're gonna fall back. Because if it's loose, it will feel more like that, meaning it will actually just tilt back quicker. Adjust the knob and it won't do that quite as quick. It will have more resistance to it. Next, we're gonna look at the neck rest. Total height adjustment here is 2.8 inches. It is a little bit stickier when you first start adjusting this, but over time it gets looser. Just keep that in mind. For the tilt, this has 60 degrees of tilt. Same thing there. So the first couple of times it may be a little bit stickier, but once you get it moving, then it is easier to move. For the armrest, I'm going to use a diagram here to help me out. 4 inches of total height adjustment, 2.6 for the forward and backwards movement of this. And then this can rotate 210 degrees. It actually rotates all the way around. And with that, it essentially changes the angle at which you're going to rest your arm, which is a very cool feature here that I actually haven't had this on any other chair that I've used, which I'm surprised, because that does make sense that you could have this angled down basically, or you could have it forward where it's a little bit more flat. I really like this feature. In terms of the build material here, this is plastic for the basic molding of the chair. The seat cushion itself is the foam that you find with some other chairs, but this actually has springs in it, which makes it very unique and different. I haven't seen this feature before. And then for the back, for the lumbar support and the actual just back rest pad here, this is a fiber mesh that they have that does offer a good amount of support. Shifting over now to what I like about this chair, I'm gonna start first with my favorite part, which is the seat cushion. A lot of chairs coming out now, they've kind of all followed this trend where they really have a mesh seat cushion. So it's not really a cushion, it's just the seat pad itself is mesh. And those are fine. They have some solid ones out there and some that aren't so great, where they do kind of wear on the legs. But personally, I do prefer a seat cushion that is a cushion like this one. What makes this different than the other sponge ones that I've used in the past is the springs. This is one of the most comfortable ones I've actually used out of all of the chairs that I've looked at and reviewed over the last handful of years. So for me, I would actually take this one and want to transplant it into the other chairs that I've reviewed. It's extremely comfortable with those springs in there. It just, I don't know, feels better than the other ones. The other ones, they are a little bit more firm, where this has a little bit more give to it, but it still retains its shape because of those springs. So number one here for me has got to be this seat cushion. Next after that is just overall comfort. I was a little bit worried with the lumbar support pad because you can't adjust it, but for me, it actually fits my build really well. So this is extremely comfortable for me. And pair that with all the adjustments that you can do here. It may be lacking with some that you find on more higher end chairs, but if you don't need those adjustments, then this should suit most of your needs. Next, the armrest here and the ability for it to rotate basically backwards isn't something, like I mentioned, that I've actually seen on any of the other chairs that I've looked at, but I really like this feature and I do wish other chairs would adopt this. It's just a nice thing to have for more customization when it comes to your armrest. Next, I think the aesthetics here are really nice. It is very minimal, so it's not overly complicated, which can be a bit noisy depending on the chair. So keeping it minimal was the right choice. And because of that, you can use this in an office, you can use this at home. If you're a gamer, this will suit that need as well. I just think overall, ProtoArc made a very good decision in terms of the aesthetics by keeping this minimal, sleek, very clean looking, because then you can use it in multiple scenarios where it isn't going to feel out of place. Last here is going to be the price point, because they've brought this in at a very solid price point, $189. For me, that, looking at what is out there on the market, is a very good deal considering the comfort here, the aesthetics, and the performance. Now, again, if you need certain things that this doesn't have, you may want to consider looking at the various chairs that they have coming out here in the near future that do have those certain adjustments. Just keep in mind that does mean a higher price tag. If you are okay with the adjustments that it does have though, if you get this on Amazon, and I don't know how long this sale is going to be around, you can use a $50 off coupon. So you can get this for $130, which is just an incredible price. Shifting over now to the negatives, I'm happy to report that I don't have any, and that goes back to the price point here. Because they've brought this in at such an effective price point, I have to judge it based off of that. So I don't judge this chair in the same way that I would judge one that was 2, 3, 4 times the cost. But with that being said, I do have a handful of gray area things, which are things that you may or may not care about. Starting first with the fact that you can't adjust the lumbar support here. Now this fits me very well. It's just right in that sweet spot that I actually try to find with other chairs, and it's just there naturally. But I don't know that it's going to be there for everyone. And because you can't adjust this, if you get this chair and it's not where you want it to be, it may be a deal breaker for you, because it may not be in the spot that's most comfortable for you. So because you can't adjust it, it may actually be uncomfortable. Next, the height adjustment here isn't as high as with other chairs. It's actually about almost an inch or two shorter than other chairs that I've reviewed in the past. And so if you're a very tall individual, this may not have the height that you need to feel comfortable. And last is going to be the weight limit. So this caps out at 280. It's only 20 pounds less than some other chairs that you find at 300, but it's going to be 70 pounds less than other chairs that you find with a cap of 350 pounds. So if you do exceed that, this just isn't going to be the right chair for you. So they've kind of boxed themselves into a little bit of a corner with the height and the weight limit here, and the fact that you can't adjust the lumbar support, because again, if you are a taller individual, you may want that lumbar support higher. You can't move it. So this is kind of geared towards a specific weight range and height a little bit because of these things. Now for my stats and how this fits me, I am 6 foot, 215 pounds. It suits me right in a sweet spot. But if you are taller than me, potentially way more than me, just keep those specific things in mind. I think anybody that's shorter than me, this should work just fine for the lumbar support. But I would also take into consideration things that you may also be looking for that are adjustments that this doesn't have, and then make the comparison, take everything into account, and then really go with the one that is going to best suit your needs. So in conclusion, I think ProtoArc has brought an incredible chair to the market at a price point that is really hard to beat considering the features here. The big one for me being this is honestly the most comfortable seat cushion I've used on a chair. And especially when you compare it again to chairs that are double, triple, quadruple the price, this one beats those in regards to the seat cushion. But it also lacks some adjustments that you may want, so I would want you to take those into consideration before making your final purchasing decision. Well, that's going to wrap this video up. If you do have any questions about this, let me know in the comment section. I will make sure to answer that for you there. If you do want to pick this up, I will have a link for it in the description so you can check that out. Check back for frequent sales also, because you may find this isn't on sale for a second and then it is, and you could get it potentially at that cheaper price point because of a sale. So that is going to be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button for me as it helps the channel out. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.